If the Jets wanted to entertain the possibility of trading Jamal Adams, who clearly wants to be traded, how would that work? What would have to happen here?
Again, Tim and I were just texting back and forth about this. And keep in mind that Jamal Adams is under contract this year and, again, next year on a fifth-year option. And then they could franchise him. So the Jets really have the control in this particular situation. And the Jets are not interested in trading Jamal Adams right now. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't listen, Greeny, and teams could call them and try to put together packages and offers. And I expect that that will happen. But, again, the Jets are just sitting back. They're not saying much of anything because they don't feel like they have to deal him. They control his rights at this particular point in time. And as I said, other teams are plotting and figuring what it might take to try to pry loose Jamal Adams, but the Jets are not interested in listening to that right now. Although I should say 2 years ago at this point in time, the Raiders were saying they wouldn't trade Khalil Mack. And then at the end of the summer, right around Labor Day, sure enough, they dealt him to the Chicago Bears.
Right. He held out. He didn't come in and he sort of forced their hand and they wound up making the deal. Let's see if Jamal Adams is willing to do that. We haven't had a chance to ask your thoughts on this, Tim Hasselbeck. What do you think is the right thing for the Jets to do here? And then what's the right thing for Jamal Adams?
Yeah. Well, like Adam said, we were texting back and forth online. To me, I look at this and I'm like, I don't understand what Jamal Adams thinks he's controlling here. Basically, the team has his rights for the next 3 years. And I'm sure that he's looked around and seen the deals that Eddie Jackson did or the deal that Kevin Byard did and thought, hey, listen, I want to bite at this apple now and then I want to get another chance at it later. The difference is those guys weren't first-round draft picks, so you're not talking about having the team having a fifth-year option. And so he's kind of in a similar situation, more along the lines of Landon Collins, which was basically he's a year too early for this. Landon Collins basically got traded, on this same timeline. He would have to play this upcoming season, and then a trade happened after that point. So that's why I think, the Jets are doing the right thing by basically saying, look, you go make all the noise you want to make. We don't have to do anything. And I don't really know what kind of leverage Jamal Adams thinks he has.
Marcus, for those of you who were with us an hour ago, Marcus suggested that it's just a bad fit, that for whatever reason it's sort of like a relationship gone wrong and they need to separate. And I would just ask you, again, he's an LSU guy like you, so you know him. Like, is it New York he doesn't like? Is it the franchise? Why do you think he wants, aside from the money piece of this, why is it that he and the Jets need a divorce?
I think it's the franchise. He just doesn't want to be a part of it, G. And obviously I can try to reach out to him, but I didn't because, listen, this is not new. We already went around this circle with Jamal Adams wanting to get out of New York. Look, the first thing you say is, I want to get a deal. And then you do your PC and you say, no, I'm good here. I want to try to work with these guys. I want to be a Jet. But obviously Jamal Adams wants to get out of New York. Now, there may be varying reasons. The one thing that I point to, and the reason why the Dallas Cowboys keeps coming up, is because he's from there. He wants to go back and play at home. He was a star in high school there. So, listen, we could talk about money. We could talk about the Jets' leverage. We could talk all of these things, and I get it from a business standpoint. But at some point, when a player doesn't want to be in the organization, that's going to create more problems than it is solutions. It's just like we had with Jacksonville and escaping my name. But anyway, when guys request trades and they want to get out of a certain place,
Jalen Ramsey,
don't have nothing to do with money.
Jalen Ramsey is the situation you're talking about. Players, we've seen it. We've all seen it. And Zeke Elliott, who was at the same stage contractually that Jamal Adams is, different position, but the same standard. That's when he famously went to Cabo. And the Cowboys went down and got him, and they gave him his contract. So Schefter, I don't even know what to say. I mean, tell me this isn't going to happen and they can somehow work this thing out, because the Jets are very, very few and far between players of this caliber that we wind up getting, and the thing is falling apart in front of my eyes.
Well, it comes from the fact, I think, largely, that Jamal Adams has wanted that new contract. The Jets have told him that he would get a new contract, and there's been a lack of talk about a new contract. And so maybe a new contract would change that. But short of that, this, again, has the chance to linger well into the summer, Greeny. Hope you enjoy your summer.
Yes, this is just exactly what the Jets need at this point. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.